So I was just coming back from an interview, and I was doing some reflecting, and I was thinking that I was doing a lot since the last time I lost my job about a month ago. And I was filling out a bunch of applications, and I was just going haywire thinking that I needed a job. But I want to take some time off to break down how to turn a job loss into an opportunity. Now, this is just my perspective on this because honestly, I didn't really get the chance to reflect and think about what I really wanted to do. So I just want to say, just pause and process the loss. That would be number one. Just pause and process the loss. Allow yourself to feel. It's normal to, be shocked that you lost the job, and you might be even angry or sad or, in fear. But I think you should at least give yourself some time to, take a short break, give yourself a few days and, rest and let your emotions rest up too. Because, something like that really takes a toll out of someone, especially if you didn't do anything wrong, and try to avoid, rash decisions. You know what I mean? Like, try to make sure that when you go out and, you don't immediately just jump into getting into another job. Just don't do that. Try to really process things and take it through, and assess your situation honestly. Just assess what you think went wrong and try to make sure that it won't happen again. And also you want to kind of review your finances. For me, I like to save, so I want to figure out how can I continue the savings that I have and also pay my bills. And that actually helped me out a lot because I started to, start selling, my products. Cause like I said, I have a side business. So I sell electronics, and that was something that actually made my day more, eventful instead of me just thinking about the job loss that I had. I will also say, identify your needs as well. You know what I mean? Just try to pivot to a different career path. If you have something that you really want to do, if you want to take the time out and go to school, I think you should do that. I don't think you should actually just jump into just any old job and try to just recover from the loss of your previous job, if that makes sense. And just reflect, on the road that you went. You want to probably be a nurse, or you probably want to be a cybersecurity analyst like myself, or IT specialist, anything that you think that you want to do. After you calm down, after you understand and process the loss that you took, and just make sure that you have, a backup on what you want to do. Don't jump shift too much. You know what I mean? And reframe the narrative also. I think that's most important too. A mind shift, shift mindset, I should say. You know what I mean? Instead of a job loss, think of it as giving another chance to re-image yourself. Try to make sure that whatever it is that you're doing would actually help you and benefit you into a, better self. I think that's the most important thing that you want to do. And, and try to find positives in it as well. When you find positives in things that, especially in situations like these, you start looking at the outcome like, maybe, I shouldn't really sweat it because now I could do this, or I shouldn't worry about losing this job because now I could get into that, so you have to have that type of mindset. And I think that will definitely help you out, mentally, at least to try to get yourself in a situation that you can put yourself in a positive light. And update your tools. I would honestly say, far as updating your tools, and what I mean by tools is fixing your resume, fixing your cover letter, making sure that everything that you can do, to promote yourself better compared to the last job that you was at. Because maybe the last job just wasn't for you. You know what I mean? Maybe the last job was just something that you were just doing for the moment. Or, if you believe in God, it was God's plan for you to actually leave that position in the first place. So I would just say, update everything that you need, your cover letters, your resume, your thank you letters, learn a new trade, all that stuff, actually comes in handy. And also identify your opportunities. I will personally say identify your opportunities by, learning, skills, or try to enhance the skills that you already learned. And let's say if you like your last job, right? You like your last job, but you got fired. I think the best thing to do at that point is try to enhance your role in that job. Let's say you wanted to be that manager or that supervisor. I think that learning the trade and also learning management can actually help you enhance what you already know, of course. And I think that's a really good thing to get yourself into. And strategize a network. Leverage existing contacts. You know what I mean? Just make sure that the people that you knew from your last job, or a best friend that know you really, really well, they know your work ethics, they can actually help you and push you through if, when you sign up for another job, a reference, they call it. So I think that's also cool. And like me, I also attended to, career events, like I said, with the Florida not too long ago. And I wanted to see what was out there as far as, the IT field and stuff like this. That's also good to like network and, have that strategy just in case, when something comes up, that person will keep you in mind and say, you know what, I know a person that does this. I know a person that get into that. So they can actually help you through that. And also, be clear about elevating too. Also try to understand like elevation is something that you want and look forward to. You know what I mean? Don't sit there and like, oh, you know what, my last job this, my last job that. Just let it completely go. It's nothing like starting all over and understanding why it is that you have to start over. And trust me, you would just pretty much feel like a flower, you know what I'm saying? Just blooming, people starting to see that, you're changed a lot. You have a different way about you. So that's pretty cool. And stay active and visible. I think that's most important too, because if you stay active and visible, then you can get other people to see your work and understand, you as a person, you know what I mean? Because that's one thing I notice about like the social media game. It's like, you don't really know a person, you know what I mean? Because they will post something up like, hey, Instagram this, Facebook that, this is what I'm doing. But in real life, they're not really like that. You know what I mean? So if you stay, vigilant and stay, on your path, then and just be open and have people, see you for you, then you will have a better chance of having somebody noticing you and understanding your ability to, work or your ethnics, see, like for me, I like to kind of share my journey here on YouTube, TikTok or whatever. Just something that I just want to do, like to do, and just see myself doing for a while. So I think that's also cool too, posting thoughtful updates and, LinkedIn's and unexpected opportunity. You never know what can happen, so I think that would be a great thing to get yourself into is just doing that part. And set a routine and have a goal too. When you set a routine to go, you send out applications at a certain time, you network a conversation with someone that you probably know that could get you in that job a certain way, or practice your skills. So if you're into like IT, you can practice your skills. That's pretty good too. Also self-care, exercise, eat healthy, do some social activities, go to that friend house or go to somebody to, give you that energy and give you that motivation to keep going and going and going. And I would say, lastly, this is my personal goal that I would like to get myself into is just celebrating the goal. Try to be more open about your celebration, have a little party or event or something like this, or, just make sure that you stay positive. Little wins like that will actually help you motivate yourself into a better place mentally. This is just, some of my ideas that, I was just thinking, as I was going home. And I think once we get to that point in our lives where as though we not going to always win, we're not going to always be at the same job forever, or even businesses, it could be going one way, and then the next day, just stop. You never really know what's going to happen. You don't know what the path in life has for you. To be honest with you, man, I just found out that a lot of the stuff that I've been doing is self-inflicted, so I have to change myself for the better. I have to make sure that everything is good for me, you know, and my family too, you know. So that is it. I really don't really have much to say. I just appreciate you guys, you know, tuning in, and hopefully you like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.